I don't want to reveal the location for fear of outing these people, but on game days, there's a group of Tar Heels and alums who get together for breakfast on game days.
Yeah.
Well, today, what a day, because Danny Green was in town. So a rather suspect group of alums bolstered significantly today by Danny Green's presence, and now he's right here in Power World headquarters. Danny, thanks so much for coming by.
Thanks for having me, man. It's always great to come back and see you guys hang out, get a chance to chop it up and talk. But yeah, it was an honor to share the breakfast table with them and be at the coffee shop. And now it's an honor to be here with you guys. So I'm enjoying it.
When y'all get together like that and get the chance to see each other and actually talk in person, what do you talk about? What comes up at this stage of life?
Yeah, I mean, it's different with different groups, right? It takes some time because it's like, man, I feel like yesterday we were just here together, and it's like, man, so much time has passed, so many things have changed. What don't we know about each other? What do we need to catch up on? Is most of the time it's family. How are the kids? How many kids do you have? Are you done? Do you want more? Where are you living? Are you moving? Or how things adjusting? How's coaching? How are the players you're coaching? Are you enjoying it? They asked me if I'm enjoying the media side. So that's pretty much it. And then the stories of the people that we know. We had some rendezvous of I do a podcast now with Paul Pierce. So some of them know Paul, either played with him or coached him or been around him. He also played for Coach Williams in Kansas. So we have, small world, 6 degrees of separation there. So just some of the stories with ex-former teammates and, ex-Carolina teammates, things of that nature. So, yeah, it was a good breakfast.
Adam, I'm disappointed that Danny does a podcast that obviously competes with ours. What in the world, Danny?
I think to say it competes might be a little strong and maybe a disservice to Danny.
That's right. Okay, well then, if you were sitting down at breakfast with this big group of Tar Heel fans that are listening to us right now, and they're going, Danny, what's going on with you? What would you tell them?
The same thing I was talking to Adam before we came in here. It's just, parenting has been the number one thing for me. I'm glad that I waited. I'm able to be home more. My kids are young, 2.5 and 7 months, so we're very much in it. We do want one more if we can do so, if we're able to, but I'm having a lot of fun. It's a blast. It is a lot. It is hectic. It is time consuming, but a lot of priceless moments as it comes along. And then outside of that, I'm doing the podcast and the media stuff. I'm doing Compass Radio Night, ESPN. I work for Spectrum, kind of dibble and dabble in different spaces and seeing what I really like to do. But I'm enjoying it. Thus far, I would like to think it's less stressful than coaching and playing. It's less stressful on the body as well. So yeah, I'm just kind of circulating and trying to, not say up my basketball knowledge, but share my basketball knowledge and learn also how to maneuver in the space and how to portray the basketball knowledge to the fans.
What do you like about that? What has been challenging about that? And those are different mediums too. Like podcasts are very different than like on the air for radio stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very challenging. ESPN is a different challenging thing because it's like, a little more structured, and you got time slots of when you can jump in, say your opinion. Some other ones are more laid back and podcasty type. Radio, very hard, not easy to do. You got to paint the picture for people that are not able to see the game. And it's like, playing double dutch or tennis. You're trying to jump in when you can. So it's a lot of fun learning how to be on your toes and be quick and, say things and get in and get out and also create a picture for people. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it, but all of them have different challenges. So yeah, it's been good.
A lot of players say, I would like to do broadcasting when I'm done, kind of as like a abstract idea. What's the difference in people who say, like, I would like to do that, and then actually being able to do it?
I think everything is easier said than done. They don't understand. I got a chance to do the Sportscaster U thing some years ago, so it helped me. And I've been doing podcasting for some time, get the reps. When they realize, like, it's not that easy, and being in the media and doing journalism stuff, you start to respect those people more. And, you have to realize you have to have a different cadence. You have to talk loud. You have to give some energy. You have to, be very different and learn how to break down the game as if they don't understand basketball at all, like to a third grader or like a 3-year-old, like a toddler. So it's not, some guys may know the game unbelievably. They just don't know how to speak it or, how to break it down. So like learning those spaces, learning how to to the average fan, give them an insight, also with stories and relatable things where your own experiences to them, which it seems valuable because they're like, oh, he's actually done it. He's been in there before. So it took me time to learn how to do that too. Like, and because I'm not one to put myself into stories or like, oh, I'll just tell you what I know, but they're not going to believe it unless they know that unless you've done it. So it's like, well, when I was here, when I played here, this is what I experienced. It's very similar to this person. So doing those things, it takes time, and I'm still working on it, still learning, have some ways to go, but I've definitely grown a lot in the space from last year to now of like how to be better on air.
Do you watch game film of like your podcasts and your broadcasts?
I
would have done this better.
I need to. I want to. It's just hard for me to watch myself. I'm one of those people. I have some of my friends and some of my co-hosts from podcasts. They'll tell me, look, you were great today. Just do this, do that, slow it down. Because I already know what I need to change or what I need to do. But it's also just, I don't like hearing myself talk. So it's weird for me. But you should watch it like you watch anything else. Watch film of yourself like when you watch basketball tape. So I have some of the clips I watch here and there, but not as much as I should because I just don't like hearing myself.
What should we know about Paul Pierce?
I mean, he's an interesting cat. He's great at what he does. He's great in the podcast space too. He knows how content works. He's very seasoned, so he's seen a lot. He's done a lot. He has a lot of experience. And he's got the young guy energy. Like he still is like acts as if he's still playing, and you need that. So he's a lot of fun to be around. He's got great stories. He's got great content. And, he's a relatable guy, so that's why people are kind of drawn to him.
All right, speaking of seasoned,
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago was your freshman year.
Yes.
Can you believe this?
No, I can't. When people say 20-year reunion for high school, that type of thing, 20 years went fast.
Yes.
It went fast.
What do you remember about this? The young Danny Green, that 06 team, bunch of young freshmen running around?
I remember checking into Granville Towers like that summer and playing pickup with the guys, and Big May walking in the room and scaring the hell out of me. I didn't know he was there. I was on the phone or something. I also remember us living together on campus and going through the workouts, the summer workouts, and learning what it was to be on time, to show up to class on time and do study hall and study hours and that nature. So yeah, and also having some fun on Franklin Street where we have Halloween out there, and there are like 80,000 people in costumes, and then also Tyler being big man on campus and spoiling senior nights at Duke, those type of things, and then being in a tournament and then losing to a Cinderella team in George Mason. So yeah, 20 years ago, said it happened fast, it's crazy, but I remember it like it was just yesterday, walking into my first summer school class with those guys. And, riding around with Marcus, he was the only one driving his car that had, like, the police light on it. We were just riding with him. It was a hot summer, me carrying books and walking through and trying to figure out, being lost where I'm going, where people actually had to carry textbooks. I don't know if they do that anymore. So
you and Tyler and Bobby and Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, to Carolina fans, you're all lumped into one thing. Like, you're all kind of this group that was always together.
That was our class.
Is that real? Was that real? Were you guys really that good of friends, or is that just kind of how it's been remembered?
No, that was definitely real. That's how it was. When we were here, as soon as we stepped on campus, we kind of did everything together. We also had Mike Cope with us.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we had Mike. Obviously at times we had split, but I lived with them for 3 years out of my 4 years when I was on campus. 2 years on campus, and then my senior year off campus. 1 year after my third year, I didn't want to move off campus just yet. They went off. I stayed on campus with Ty, Dion, and Mark Campbell. Ty Lawson, Dion Thompson. But yeah, I was with them all the time. Like our first couple of years, we did everything together. We hung out together, be in the gym, go places, study hall. And that's how we learned. I mean, we were the new class. Everybody else had left. We were the young class, and then we got the second class behind us. So we integrated with some of them. But, most of the classes that came in together kind of stuck together.
If the transfer portal had existed then like it exists now, is it fair to say we might not have had 4 years of Danny Green? And if we hadn't, what would you have missed out on in college? And then what would you have missed out on in your life right now?
We would have missed out on a lot. I would have missed out on a lot for sure. That possibility been stronger because there was a time where I almost left, but I feel like I was a kid that wanted to prove people wrong and stick it out. So I feel like I think I still would have eventually stayed here, but I think the possibility immediately might have been a little bit stronger. And of course, with NIL, like depending on where people are pulling from, that might have happened. But yeah, I feel like I'm loyal to a fault for the most part, and I think I would have stayed here. But if I were to leave, I would have missed out on a lot of stuff, man. Just the brotherhood, just the memories. Obviously, a national championship because that didn't happen until my senior year. But yeah, I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad it didn't happen during that time. Transfer portal and NIL has changed a lot of the game and the college space. And there's times where I wish I was a part of it, and times I'm like, I'm happy I wasn't a part of it because we might not have gotten 4 years of all of us. You know, Tyler might not have been here for 4 years. You know, Marcus, Bob, Ty, he might have been gone. Wayne, like they could have been pulled in all different directions. We were just on the phone with Ed Davis, like he might not have been here. So,
can you imagine the Danny Green NIL after the dunk at Cameron on Greg Paulus? If I could just have a small percentage of that NIL, I would be very happy because
we could sell. Yeah, we could sell T-shirts or something of that. So, but
that's harder than you think.
I believe it. I believe it.
Okay, quick question. Danny, the jump around dancing, the dunk on Paulus national championship. Which one do Carolina fans mention to you most, even now, 20 years after your freshman year?
I think it changed over years. I think in order, like it started out, it was the dancing thing was number one overall, and then the Greg Paulus thing became like number one over time. And then now I've gotten older, people kind of forget that I could have actually dunk back then. And, you know, the dancing thing is not a big thing anymore. It's more the national championship now. But it's definitely dancing first, and then the Paulus thing kind of, you know, because beating Duke at Duke and then making that play. And then the national championship, I think now is more so known as a Carolina kid now and a national champion now that I'm removed from some years.
We had Marcus on here recently, and he was talking about how poor his pass was on that play.
Yeah, it wasn't I don't think it was that bad. I think he thought about it more. It was more poor because in the eyes of Coach Williams, we never throw the ball backwards.
Right.
So that's why when he threw it, he probably like, damn, if Danny doesn't finish this, Coach Williams is going to cuss me out because if Danny gets a charge or if he doesn't finish this play, because it was always 2-on-1, you keep it side, you don't throw it backwards. And he was like, that was like one of our cardinal sins. And he threw it back. I'm glad he did. He gave me an opportunity to make a play. But, yeah, it wasn't that bad of a pass. Looked like when I caught it anyway from him. So I've received way worse passes in my day.
You've won everything. You obviously won here. You've won at the very highest levels. Some people...
I didn't win high school. That was one thing I didn't get. State championship. I actually lost Mr. Basketball to Greg Paulus. Interesting enough.
You got him.
Things worked out.
Yeah. And then I didn't get a state championship. Like, a lot of things happened, but that was one I did not get.
We're going to exclude that one.
Yeah.
You've won everything else. A lot of people go through really long careers and never win one.
Yeah.
What do you know about winning that other people don't know?
I feel like I learned a lot of it here. And I learned it, in high school too. My high school coach was kind of maniacal in the sense of he was a perfectionist and never let us skip steps, never let us cut corners. And you can't cheat the game, which we also learned here. Not only on the basketball court, but in life. They taught us how to be good men, also outside of being, good teammates and good basketball players. So just learning how to be a really good teammate and show up for your teammates. And when you go into war, like, do the little things, the dirty work, and not cut corners, carry it over to, the NBA. And also with Pop, he also disciplinary, instilled a lot of those things in us. And we had the whole group like that. So I don't think it was luck to win one in San Antonio. Like, that's just, I was lucky enough to be at the right time, right place in other places to kind of carry that over, because not many organizations in the NBA you see that are that disciplined like San Antonio was. But for me and Kawhi to bring it to Toronto and win it in 1 year, which is special and lucky, it doesn't happen. And then we just had a really good team in LA. When I went to LA, we just had all the top dogs then. But yeah, to win it in other places, I think it was definitely right place, right time type of deal. And, good amount of luck on those ends. But to just learning how to show up and be a great teammate and do, the blue collar work that doesn't show up in the stat sheets a lot of time.
I said it, 20 years since your freshman year. Like, if you could go back to that guy Would that guy ever believe, like a national champion, multiple-time NBA champ, somebody now in the media space that everybody goes, oh, yeah, Danny Green, I know that guy. Like, what an amazing ride this has been.
Yeah, no, I would never believe you. I would think you need to be in a psych ward. Like, I think I would think you were on drugs and that you would need to be on a psych ward. And I was like, nah, you can't be serious. But I've been very blessed to be able to live out my dreams and far beyond my expectations and far beyond, I think, a lot of people's expectations of me or for me. My parents, my dad, he believed in me, but did he think that it would pan out this way? I'm sure Coach Williams believed in me too. But do you think that like I'd have a longer tenure or like a longer career than my classmates? Probably not, So I wouldn't think that either. I look at Ty, Wayne, Tyler, Ed, like all those guys were great. Even guys behind me, John Henson, and I would think those guys would be way in the league longer than I would and have a way better career. But a lot of people that look at me now like, oh, Danny had one of the best careers that ever come out of Carolina, which is like crazy to say or crazy to even think about. So again, I've been very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time and play for the right coaches.
I've waited a long time to be a peer with Danny Green.
Oh.
Let's just talk as fellow podcasters.
Yeah. Guys.
What's something you've learned about talking to people, some of whom you may not know that well, some you might know a little bit? What have you learned about how to have those conversations that make them good? And then I'm going to steal everything you say.
Yeah. So the biggest thing for me is like we all have memory like pockets in our brain, and not all of us remember greatly, but everybody has millions of stories. And I feel like we all kind of come to I'm gonna say the end conclusion, but we all go through a lot of similar things in life, just in different ways. But people just want to hear how you came about, who you are. Like, you got to find the right question to ask. If you ask the right questions, it'll take people back to a time or a place or a memory that'll come up, and you'll get something that they've never said before, or they never even brought to their mind. So do some research. Of course, that helps. But if you're just having, conversational and just think of like, what would bring me back, or what memories that I know that people don't ever ask me, that I'll ask somebody else, that will bring them to a time of a story that people have never heard before. So yeah, that's pretty much the biggest thing is like, even in certain podcasts, I've done a million podcasts, and a lot of times people ask me a question like that one. I'm like, oh, I never asked that before. I never thought about it. But it'll bring me to a memory. Like I remember telling the story to anybody, but it'll bring me to a time like, oh, I remember this happened. And that's what came to my mind when they asked the question. So if you ask the right questions, it'll bring out some really good answers from people that they've never shared before.
So what's the Danny Green story? What's the definitive Danny Green story that we need to know? That's
a good question.
Changed your path.
That's changed my path?
Or that has helped guide your path?
Man, I mean, there's so many different things that help guide me. And it's a lot of, and I was fortunate enough to have it all happen earlier in my life, like the adversity, because it kept, like, I was a late bloomer, and it kept a chip on my shoulder to want to prove people wrong. Being a second round pick, being at school here, and my dad not being able to go, he was incarcerated at the time, and not playing starting until my senior year, being cut a couple times my rookie year, playing overseas, and then coming back, and then just earning my spot every day with San Antonio and Pop, because Pop never made you feel like you were established, So that's just a story of me. I feel like a lot of kids, they kind of, I'm going to say burn out, or they just don't reach their full potential because they're given too much too soon or too early. And I was lucky enough to not be given that too much too soon, too early, but also experience a lot early enough to adversity to where I appreciated it so much more when I was able to be in the league at a certain standpoint.
This is something I always think is interesting because the adversity is a big part of your story.
Yes.
Now you're a parent. Your kids aren't going to have the same adversity.
I hope not. I hope not. And only life can teach them that. But you try, as parents, you realize you try to teach your kids about the mistakes you made so they don't make the same ones, right? And they may not ever go through any of the things that I went through, but you try to get ahead of it. And eventually they might listen to you, they might not. But life is going to teach them, right? So that's my job. My job is to try to teach them about those things or tell them about those things so they know about them and don't make those same mistakes, or they don't have to go through as much adversity. But they're going to have to go through some at some point in their life. And for me, it's that I hope that it's sooner than later and earlier so they can learn those life lessons and then move on from it and be smart. Because you learn your best successes come from learning from your failures. So if you don't have those failures till later, it's going to be harder for you to like turn it around. You're in your 40s and 50s, like, oh, I'm just learning this now because I went through this at 39. Like, no, I went through a good amount of it in school here, so I was able to like, okay, I've know a little bit about life now. I can kind of figure it out a little sooner than later.
Is it hard when you have the opportunity to smooth it all out for them, but sometimes maybe this doesn't need to get smooth?
It's challenging. I mean, every sense of parenting is challenging. Just figuring out how much freedom you want to give them, how much strictness, the disciplinary, how much you want to share with them, how much, yeah, again, and also those type of things you're talking about, those dynamics, how to try to make it smoother for them, or do you want to make it rough for them? Like, I feel like my job is to obviously make it easier for them, but also prepare them for the real world. So, like, I have to be hard on them. You have to bully them at times. Like, you have to be their first bully until they meet the real bully. Like, you have to like tell them, no, that's not how life works. The world's not revolve around you, and that'll make them tougher mentally and emotionally and physically. So yeah, it's a constant battle every day for most parents of like, how do I want to challenge this kid? How do I balance it? How do I show them, give them love, but also challenge them to be better people, they're humans, and be prepared for the real world when they get into it.
All right, we've had you more than 20 minutes. We appreciate you being here. Always great to see you and talking with you. Last thing, just when you're here, what do you think? When you're in Chapel Hill,
yeah,
what is it that washes over you? What do you think about? What comes to your mind?
I just think of home. Like, that's all I think. I feel like I'm at a home. I'm at peace. I just want to hang out, see my brothers. I got a chance to sit dinner last night with Tyler and Marcus, and then Hoots, and then whoever's in town. Talk to Ed, see Ray Terry. He's texting me right now. Text Mike Cope. Anybody that I can see the game, be a part of the arena, and then hopefully see them get a win. But just enjoy being home.